Hello friend, how is it going? Welcome back to Toyota Maintenance YouTube channel. Today we have in my shop 2013 Toyota Highlander. This one is limited 4-wheel drive and has approximately 170,000 miles on odometer. And you already saw this vehicle on this channel because I was showing you how you can recognize wheel bearing, bad wheel bearing on such a vehicle. What happened here, the owner said she can hear from the back when she drives loud and we checked, there's no play on that bearing whatsoever. However, if you spin it, you really hear that humming sound. Yep, I will bring you closer. There is problem with this door, roll-up door banging because it's super windy today. I cannot do anything about it. So let's try to listen that humming. The owner said it got worse. I hope you can hear it. There is a scrape of the brake pads, which is normal, but there is also that hum. I will spin it more, but it's a 4-wheel drive vehicle, so I can't do anything about it either. In the comments below the video, many of you expressed the wish that I will film it if the vehicle comes back. Well, I have a time. So let's film how you replace a rear wheel bearing on 2013 Highlander. My next step will be removing this brake caliper. That's a two 14mm bolts here on the back. The bolts are right here, they are loose. If you wiggle the whole thing a little bit, it will create space and you can remove that caliper. I always preach to you, never hang it on the brake line, but on the hook. This one, it's so light, there's no way it can damage the brake line, so this will be the only exception, and I will carefully put it on the side there. I switch to the large half-drive ratchet for two 17mm bolts, which are still here on the back. I will be able to remove the rest of the brake assembly. I can see a lot of rust build up between the hub and the rotor, so I don't think, even with my superhuman power that it will give, and I will need to use these two separating bolts. We discuss these in different video in this channel, so if you don't know what's going on, look it up. That will pop. It will break that rust here and it will pop it off. This one for some reason doesn't want to go in, but I will show it in the detail. Oh yeah. So now it's coming. You will hear the pop. You will see how it breaks off that rust here. Did you hear it? It's already happening. Always keep turning it around so you know you are not pulling on the parking brake shoes which are inside. This one is really having a lot of rust. I wonder how those shoes look inside. Do you see it? It finally gave up and I can pull the rotor away. So here we have the new view on entire area, and you will love this for DIY like you, for people who has no shop, access to the presses and so on. And you will understand why I'm saying it a little bit later. So let's continue with removing this nut. If you see, it's a locking nut So I first need to straighten this area so the nut can nicely spin off. Okay, let's take care of it. I think this tool is just perfect for it. I will still first use a steel brush because I like everything perfect. So remove as much as possible of that rust, and after that, just to help it, put some lube on it. Yes, that's enough, and we are ready to remove it. A little bit of history. I bought this socket. Guys, this is a real snap-on 30mm 12 point. When I bought it as a young tech at a Toyota dealer and I heard the price, I almost got a heart attack. It was so expensive, just one socket. I couldn't believe it. But this is really great tool. It has a lifetime warranty. So life goes on. Boom, and look, it works perfectly. So I don't regret buying it. I just remember how shocked I was when the guy from the Snap-on truck charged me for it. I will very carefully tap on that CV axle shaft. I'm holding it on the other side and I can see it's loose. You can see it too, even pushing on it with a finger, it's moving, so that's fine. I know it's not corroded together, and we can go to the next steps, which I think you will really love, how this could be easy. And this is the reason what I keep talking about. You can buy just the bearing and being pressing out and pressing in and dealing with all the seals which are actually already installed on this assembly. So this is the opposite of the hard way. You can purchase these assembled completely, and as I will just show you, for you DIYers, this is definitely way to go in my opinion. I'm using it today mainly to show you. Alright, so here we go. You hear what? Well, nothing, because it's a perfect brand new greased up bearing, so it has that nice little bit of resistance. It's perfectly quiet, no humming. So I will show you, and you will love it, how easy it is to replace it. And maybe one day when it happens to you, you will do it yourself. And this is one of those smart, new, modern designs where that whole assembly, the hub assembly with the bearing, it's basically held by 4 17mm bolts. So if you use socket which fits in these holes, find a bolt in the back and have a good tool to remove it. Let's see how easy it will go. Did you see that? Now again, people will comment how lucky we are here in California, and we are, because we are not dealing with a rust. So I bet you this whole thing will come off pretty easy. In my case, I agree, I am lucky. Working on cars here, I cannot imagine you guys on the East Coast what horrors you have to be dealing on a daily basis. I had few cars which were rusted from that area, which somebody brought here. And yes, I fully sympathize with you, because I tried by myself and I realized that your job over there is way harder. It's true and nothing that true. And you guessed it correctly, we will be back to the tapping. Because we are where we are, Look how easy it will come off. Please don't hate me for that. That's why we were checking that we are not stuck with that CV axle shaft. And this is nicely, gently coming off. Believe it or not, it's so perfectly designed that we don't have to deal with this parking brake assembly at all. Look at this. This is absolutely unbelievable. You just saw it in the live view. We have the old bed assembly out. And let's make sure our diagnosis was correct and it's actually grinding. Let's give a listen. I'm pretty sure you hear it. Now for me, I'm a clean freak, you know that. I will start cleaning all these surfaces. If it had a bad rust, it'll be good to use a wire wheel or something. But everything is in the tip-top shape. All the surfaces are very good here. I don't have any failed seals or anything. So I will go ahead with cleaning. And I will start applying very thin layer of anti-seize for the future person who might be maybe removing it again. Here is my wife's toothbrush I'm borrowing today. Don't tell her, please. I'm pretty sure she will be mad. I will clean it later. Now you will witness the most fun part of the job. Why is it fun? Because this cable is messing up with your work. It's pushing on this and it doesn't want to be aligned. These holes doesn't want to be aligned on this. So it's kind of fun. So probably the best is, this is asymmetrical. So you can see the wider part, it's here, more narrow there. So the best is probably put this back, align it first on that back plate, let it rest here on the CV axle, and then pick up one of the first bolts having extension and try first the new hub assembly with the back plate. Oh yeah, it went in. And now I will put it carefully, not damaging anything. I'm watching that CV axle entire time, that it's not coming out or anything. And I'm looking on the back to match the hole. And the reason I put just two and not all four of them, because they are by hand only, and now I will use the Permatex blue thread locker. This one is a gel. So at the end of these 4 bolts I will introduce this material, the gel. What's happening? Am I out? Was just working the other day. Oh, this is funny, right? We want to film something and no more thread locker coming out. Well, let's fix it. I have more elsewhere. So you can see it right here. I will put nice little amount on those threads, and using the same extension I can put it, there was a lot, so I can spread it on 2 of those, right? This one goes on the side, and now I am installing the remaining 2. After that I will remove the ones which has no thread locker, apply the thread locker on those two. The blue goo you see right here, all for install. Now it's time to torque them. Always go crisscross pattern so it's seated better. I'd rather do it few times more that somebody else will blast it with a power tool. I don't like that. Everybody does what they do. That's their thing. So I'm using half drive, right? This is a big ratchet. Definitely putting it tight, but I know it will not, the bolts will not loose because the presence of the blue thread locker, so you don't have to like try to rip it off or something. Now I will apply a little bit of anti-seize on this area, because that's where the rotor will be sitting, and I need to clean that rust of that rotor. All that dust from the rust and so on, that's toxic, so if possible, don't breathe in it. I have cleaned it from inside out, there's no brake dust left on it, so I should be able nicely put it on the, if I put it on correctly, it will keep falling off. Right? You see it's loose, right? The rust is not holding it anymore. I don't have any scraping or anything, so I know this is in the good position. And like a crazy person obsessed with the anti-seize, I will still keep putting more right here. Before I will put this part back, I'm checking that the brake pads, the loop is still there, and the sliding pins are perfectly moving. These ones have still excellent lubrication, so I can go ahead back with those two 17mm bolts. So nicely match it, and these 17s are always, I don't know the number of torque, but they need to be tight. Here we go. Let's double, triple check everything. Now it's coming. Torque. Again, I'm using large tools, so you know you are applying enough force with a long half drive ratchet. Now the brake caliper will carefully come back. I don't see any problems here, so it should just slide on. And these 14mm bolts are the opposite of what I just said. These you have to be gentle. Look how tiny they are. It's all soft material, so you don't want to be cranking on those too much. It's a common sense. I personally use just a small ratchet for those. Observe the details, if these spacers are in the correct place. Everything has to be nicely fitting, so it has a perfect alignment. Nothing is being pinched or misaligned. Now it's finally time to put back this locking crown nut. So this is that 30mm 12 point. This axle nut supposed to be pretty tight. In the foot-pounds it's 210 foot-pounds, or in Newton meters 294 Newton meters. So let's see if I have so much power to move 294 Newton meters. That will be interesting. I just was bragging that I have a superhuman powers. Is it correct? Yeah, I did. Sorry for this. I apparently didn't have it ready yet. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So here we go, my friend. tools to set up. If you just guys were here with me, that will be so helpful. But it's okay, I will manage. So we will listen for the click of that torque wrench. Maybe Peter, maybe you don't have it. Maybe you don't have it, bro. Ho, here we go. To prevent that axle nut from possibly loosening itself, here we have this area where I need to recreate that notch. I always recheck if everything is still perfectly free. I don't see any problems, and because of that I will back the tire. These are gorgeous rims. I love those. Aluminum, relatively lightweight. When it's still on the vehicle, I use this torque stick which limits the torque which my power tool, the impact wrench, will normally put it. You don't want to just use it without this. You don't want to damage those lug nuts or studs. So carefully, again crisscross, I'm just applying torque on it just so I can test it, I can spin it, I know everything is seated. And let's see if we are quiet. Oh, that's the brake pad scraping the rotor. But the humming is gone. Trust me, it's not there. This customer will be happy. No more listening woo, 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 woo. And when the vehicle will be on the ground, I come back with that large torque wrench and do it to 120 Newton meters each of them. Also, I always have to check tire pressures for people. These were all over the map. I don't know why. Who was playing with it? I swear. I just heard. I like it. I like it. Oh yeah. 32 is really good. And if you work on the cars even a little bit, always have some trick in place which will remind you to torque those lug nuts, because you don't want to lose your wheel. Also, if you use the same torque wrench, don't forget to change it back to, in my case, 120 Newton meters. That's what I do on these Toyotas. Because if you had 290, you will keep torquing and torquing on it and probably rip off those lug nuts. So you can see it's still moving because that torque stick was just making sure I don't do the damage. But you cannot really depend on it. Yep, it's definitely making a lot of noise. So what do you think, my friend? I will say this design actually makes it doable for people, for DIYers. Makes it doable, makes it possible for people with just a basic tools to do it themselves. Will you not agree? So I hope you find this video helpful. And be subscribed. Way more about Toyotas. It's coming your way soon. I will catch you in the next one.